Hello everyone, Bajonas here. I'm proud to introduce the first entry into what I hope will be a new series of Super Mario 64 speedrunning tutorials. This series is designed to help beginners and advanced players improve their gameplay with explanations of different strategies, deeper game knowledge, and tips to build consistency. Welcome to Modern 100 Coin Tutorials, BOB 100. In the first section of this video, I'm going to walk through a full BOB 100 coin using standard RTA strats. So if you have some experience speedrunning SM64 and can follow along with the basic inputs, this section will help you learn BOB 100 for the first time. Then I'm going to go back and break down the beginning, middle, and end of the star, explain mechanics in more detail, show some faster strats, and talk about how to optimize your movement. If you're familiar with BOB 100, you can skip ahead to the detailed breakdown. So let's get into it. To do 100 coin with the Koopa shell, you need to have Bomb King and Koopa Race completed and select any star 3 and above. When you enter the level, turn the camera parallel to the main path by pressing C left when you hit the ground. Do a buffer kick and double jump dive straight ahead and strafe slightly toward the cork box, and try to ground pound as close to the front edge as you can so you can grab the coins with as much forward speed as possible. You also want to be in the center of the box or slightly left of center to have the best chance of getting all 3 coins. You can very roughly think of missing a coin as losing 1 second. So if you're going to be chasing a coin for multiple seconds, it might be best just to let it go. And the less experienced you are though, the more likely it is you'll lose coins later on in the flying section. So I would try to get as many coins as you can early on in the beginning of the star. Once you get that, kind of watch the inputs here. You'll have to do a bit of an off-angle jump dive. I like that camera change to see the coins under the bridge. And now you're going to break the wing cap box. You want to be moving horizontally into the box. So you jump and then you kick moving horizontally. So the kick breaks the box. But because you're not coming at a straight on angle, you're not going to recoil kick. You're going to kick into the box and then to hold down as you see him holding to fall onto the wing cap. And that'll give you good spacing to start your triple jump dive. Don't dive too late after your triple jump on the Japanese version or you'll get a bad camera, which I'll explain in the detailed breakdown section. But the important thing is to keep holding down, triple jump, hold forward, dive, and make it over this fence. So when you make it over the fence, now you have to look and see if the Koopa is in front of or behind the Goomba. So the Koopa's in front of the Goomba, and if he's in front, you want to hit him with a punch and then do a buffer kick onto the shell. If the Koopa's behind the Goomba, you want to slide kick through the Goomba and the Koopa to kill both, and then roll out onto the shell. So check out this comparison here to see the 2 different types of movement. The Goombas are going to be in slightly different positions, and the coins from the Koopa and Goombas will be random. So your goal is to kill all the enemies with a smooth counterclockwise circle, and then to collect all the coins with another smooth counterclockwise circle. This isn't always feasible, but you just have to do the best you can. I recommend, well, first of all, I got to get on the shell. I recommend a C left and then 2 C right so that you're facing the tree when you come back kind of the way you came toward the spawn area. And then when you pass the tree, you can do a C left to line up this nice straight ahead line to jump through the first red coin. So when you jump through the coin, you do a medium A tap and then let go of A and hold it to glide through the coin with enough distance to clear the gap. If you didn't know, Mario will fall slower if you hold A with the wing cap on, with the exception of long jumps. But for the shell, you can see that glide has as much slower descent than normal, and that gives you enough space to grab the coin and clear the gap. Now around the chain chomp, you can see he's being a little happy guy right there. We're gonna try to run around him. He won't attack you right away because you're moving too fast for him to lock onto your position. So you want to get fairly close to him. I get a bit too close just for demonstration purposes, but you can just keep holding forward, generally speaking. And after you pass the sign, you want to do 2 C left inputs. So watch the timing. That does actually matter, the timing. If you do it too late or too early, you might not get a good notched angle for this jump through the coin. So if you see me turn around, I can just hold upright and then jump over the pole and grab the coin. So work with that timing to make sure you kind of get it and feel for that window where it does work out. Alright. And then you also want to practice getting enough speed to jump over that white slope. So if you look at it again, hold A, glide, Get around the chomp, get over the white slope, and now we get up here with the third red coin. And there's a few different movements you can do here. Some people will jump directly to the white slope. I'm really not a fan of this. And the reason why is because the white slope is very steep and you lose your speed on it very quickly with the shell. And that's bad. You spend a lot of time building up speed, you don't want to lose it. So we would recommend going to the green slope instead. And there's a couple different ways, but the easiest way is to just jump directly to the green slope. Go a little bit wide of your up left notch, and then hold left when you land to keep your speed and jump over the fence. So I'll play that like a couple times. Jump, hold left, and then you get over the fence. Then you're gonna mash up the hill. You know, this is just, you'll get used to the shell riding, following the inputs, and then a little off angle long jump wall kick here. To break your shell, pressing Z breaks your shell, and then you start the triple jump collecting these coins. If you collected them all, you'll have 32 at this point. You also might want to switch your grip to mash up the slope. So when I am kind of sliding along this part, I'll change to my middle finger on the A button and then I'll mash. You don't have to do that, but it's just something you can do if you're having trouble mashing up the slope. It doesn't change the overall time too much, but if you're bad at mashing, it will slow you down. And now is the hard part, the flying. So the flying is just going to take a lot of practice. There's no sugarcoating, but I'll try to explain as best I can. So when you kind of approach the coins, you're going to see there are 5 rings. And the coin you can see now is the middle coin because it's one of the 5 secrets. And then the rest of the coins will draw in a little bit later. So with the first ring that we go through here, this is the third ring, the middle one. And we want to grab all the bottom 6 coins if possible. So you kind of want to approach it a little bit from the right and turn so that Mario's turn cuts all the way through the ring and collects all 6 coins. So Mario's flying hitbox goes a little bit above him when he's flying, but also you don't want to be relying on that too much. It's better to miss the 1 coin at the bottom than 3 coins on top. But get a feel for this height. And when you get to about this distance, you're going to start holding left. And if you do it right, you'll be able to get through the ring with all 6 coins. And it's really important that you don't grab the middle coin here. This is the second secret coin. And if you grab it, you'll end up spawning the secret star on the cannon shot, losing about 4 seconds. So avoid that one. Grab those 2 coins in the bottom corner. If you're really pro, you can get the third one in the upper right. But it's quite difficult. So I'll show the flying once again. So you hold left. And then you neutralize to ground pound. Very important because that eliminates any stored angle you might have. That could throw off your cannon shot. Now you have a pretty cool mechanic here. It's a side flip angle change double jump. When you land from a side flip, you can start turning during the landing animation and still get a double jump, which lets you smoothly collect this red coin in the tree. So the camera's going to pan automatically. I just hold up to side flip, go neutral a bit to get enough height to get the coins. Then I start holding up right. So you see, I was on the ground for a long time and then Mario actually turned. So the double jump kick could snag the red in the tree. And that's a pretty slick move right there. So if the first flying section wasn't hard enough, well, now we have the cannon shot. This is where you're most likely to lose your coins. If you've done everything right so far, you'll have 51 entering the cannon. And you want to aim down to the yellow coin that you can see, which is the middle coin of that second secret ring. If you grabbed it, it won't be there. You'll have to kind of use the cloud for reference. But this is where you want to be aiming. And when you shoot out of the cannon, you'll fly straight ahead at first, and then you'll swoop upward. So when you swoop upward, you're going to have to lightly tap forward. You can see I'm kind of holding halfway. I'm going to kind of feather. So tap and release. And then hopefully you can get 2 coins from the second, third, and fourth ring. So if you saw the third ring, there's only 3 coins left. We grab 2 of these. And then I grabbed 3, but at least the top and top right coin of this ring to give yourself the best chance of getting coins on the way down, or to let yourself get the most coins total when you pass through the fourth ring again. So you want to use this upward momentum to carry you into a turn so you pass up vertically through these coins. And this is pretty hard, but you just want to get as many as you can if you watch the inputs, you kind of want to slightly tap like left or down left to get that upward boost, and then go right up to holding upright so you get the turn. So I'll watch the cannon shot again and just kind of look at the inputs, and you'll just have to play with it and do the best you can. So now you're in the turnaround. 63 coins is pretty good here. To get used to this, you can hold up left until Mario is about to cross this horizon line. So see the blue line here? There it goes from the sky to the deep blue. This is kind of where you want to start holding left. And then Mario should turn around in a good position to fly through the fourth ring once again. There are visual cues you can try to find out, like when to stop holding left. But this is just something that comes with practice. So hold up left, when you go through the coins. Hold left when you pass the horizon, and then release it. And then try to get as many as you can. I got 68, that's pretty good. So you always want to check your coin count out of the air at this point, because this determines what you need to do for the ending. Jogi and Tabascoth have a little bit of visual aid, which I'll show. And for 68, you can do 3 pulls and a Goomba. I'm going to demonstrate the box route. I'll show both so you can see how they both look. If you get 68 or more, you've done really well. So try to turn this corner so you can roll straight into the red coin on the hill. And then start sliding down. So Mario KMC down saves some lag. When you get to the bottom of the hill, you want to be lined up pretty perpendicularly with this gate. So the slope is going to push you a bit to the left. You want to angle Mario a little bit to the right. You can hold upright or closer to straight right if you really want to. But upright is pretty good to adjust your angle. And then you're going to try to do a quick jump, release A, and then dive roll out. So when you do that, you're going to want to strafe left through the gate and then strafe right to go down into this tunnel. So I'll play that again. When you fall into the tunnel, you're going to want to do C up, C down to reset your visibility. And then I encourage you to do a C left to set up your long jump to be down right, leaving the tunnel. So this is, once again, something that takes a bit of time, but you'll get used to it. And then you can also hold A a little bit to flutter with the wing cap. Just to give yourself a little bit more room to make it down there without, hitting the edge of the top of the tunnel. Alright, so here's the ending now. Based on how many coins you got out of the air, you either want to go toward that bottom left pole, or you want to go to the box. If you get the box, try to get this sort of angle in Mario Cam so that you can throw the box at that brown sidewall. If it hits the hill, it'll just keep sliding and go all the way to the back fence. You don't want that to happen. So this angle is really good, gives the box enough time to fall down. And you can do a standing throw or run for a couple steps and then jump throw is a little bit faster. I'll demonstrate an advanced strat that you can do as well. This is good RNG. You won't always get that good RNG, but try to get the coins if you can and then start going around the poles. So if you go for the box, you want to go counterclockwise around the poles for the remaining coins. And this example has some above average RNG, I would say. I wanted it to look fairly good for the sample. So when you're doing this, just be patient. Try to path Mario efficiently through the coins. And I will explain in more detail how to optimally go through the pole section in the detailed breakdown. So definitely refer back to that. But for this, that is BOB 100. And here is the comparison for the direct 3-pole ending. Okay, so if you go straight for the poles, the movement is going to look like this. Try to kill the Goomba on your way for an extra coin, and then go clockwise around the poles to finish the star. So you'll be going in the opposite direction as if you got the box. So if you're new to SM64, remember that the 100 coin star will always spawn above Mario, and you always want to grab it first, because if you grab the red coin star instead, which is fixed in the middle of the poles, you can see where that blue star is always where the red coin star will spawn. If you grab that first, you'll get kicked out of the stage without the 100 coin star, and all your hard work will go to waste, so make sure that doesn't happen. Alright, let's get into the detailed breakdown. So the first section is going to be from the beginning until breaking the shell. The first thing I want to look at is a couple of lag reductions. You can save lag entering the stage with a C right. You can buffer that entering the stage. And then C left as you're getting close to the ground, and C left again when you get on the ground to get the same angle as you would without the lag reduction. And you can also save lag on the cork box. It's pretty laggy actually. You can see left before you break it to save some lag frames. And you can also do a punch on the box. If you collect all the coins smoothly, it saves about 0.3. But in my testing, you maybe get the coins smoothly 50 to 60% of the time, as opposed to 80 to 90% of the time ground pounding. So it's up to you. And this is what the lag reduction looks like for ground pounding. Okay, so on the Japanese version, you'll get what's affectionately known as cancer cam if you dive too late after the triple jump, because the camera zooms in as you start flying. So you can dive up to 10 frames, which is 1/3 of a second, after your triple jump without getting cancer cam. But diving later means you have more height, and therefore you can have more forward speed when you clip the fence. So it is faster, and you should try to dive toward the end of this 10 frame window. So check out the comparison. And by the way, you can actually save 1/10 of a second diving very late and getting cancer cam on purpose, but it's harder to have good movement to the Koopa, but at least the camera will return to normal when you get on the Koopa shell. So that's something you can keep in mind. Alright, now here's a pretty unique mechanic here, the Z C up kick. Pressing C up cancels your slide after hitting the Koopa, and pressing A and B, or B while buffering A, will cancel the C up cam and perform a kick. So when you're sliding with a bit of speed, you can hit the Koopa, but if you're going too slow or you press C up before you hit him, the Koopa will hit you and run away, which is really bad. It loses a lot of time. He can go up the hill and it's a pain. So I would be careful going for this unless you're very confident in it, but I'll show it again. You press C up, right? And then Z to slide into the Koopa. Then C up again, so you go into that sliding motion. And then kick onto the shell. And that can save about 0.3. Alright, so as I said in the first section, you want to kill all the enemies and collect their coins in a pretty smooth circular motion. But in reality, this won't happen very often. But you want to make sure you're building up speed on the Koopa shell for this next section. So on the shell, you accelerate on the ground up to a speed of 64 and accelerate in the air depending on your speed when you leave the ground. Up to a speed of 55, you'll accelerate faster by staying on the ground, but above that, being in the air is faster. So check out this comparison for shell movement. Look at the speed I have in each clip when I hit the rock. So the first clip is no jumping, got up to 59. Second clip is repeated jumping, 58. And jumping when I get to 55, 60. So as you can see, riding on the ground until 55 and then jumping in the air is the best way to get acceleration. Alright, now yet another advanced strat here. We have clockwise chain chomp. So rather than going past the chain chomp completely and turning around, we can do just a little bit of a U-turn and collect the coin over the pole going clockwise. So what's really important for this is going up close to the chain chomp, so he starts to kind of bound after you instead of like locking onto you to attack. So I'm going to jump right at him, do my 2 C lefts, and then bail at the last second and kind of start taking a turn around. So you look at the chain chomp, he actually starts bouncing in Mario's direction to follow him. So we look at this again. Jump very close, turn around, and then you can use the upright knots to jump over the pole, or at least to grab the red coin. So the spacing is a bit tighter now to get over the white slope, so be ready to strafe a little bit to the right or just adjust your position altogether if you're not going to make it, because if you don't make it over, you'll break your shell, and that loses a good bit of time. Alright, finally, we have a different option for the green slope strat. The optimal way is actually to jump from the green slope to the white slope, because the white slope gives you a lot of acceleration. So if you get a bunch of speed, you can actually slide down and then jump from the kind of low ground here up to the brown slope directly. This isn't the perfect clip. You have to get a lot of speed for this. Usually you can just slide straight toward the little grassy part to jump off. Tabascoth made a really good tutorial about this, and I'll link it in the description. Going from the green slope to the white slope, you want to hold pretty close to your left notch, and then try to get it so you can have a pretty short hop from the green slope to the white slope, and then match up the hill. And the rest of the shell movement is the same, and that's it for the first section. Alright, so the second section here is going to be when you start flying to when you finish flying. For the first flying section, there's not a lot I can say that I didn't already say in the walkthrough, but you want to get a feel for Mario's hitbox, how he turns in the air, and just give it a lot of practice. Try to get all the coins that I got in this example video. And finally, you do want to do that cool side flip angle change into the cannon. Now for aiming down, there's actually a specific amount of time to hold. That is 12 frames or 0.4 seconds. I'll show it here. Alright, so if you've kind of got that in your head, we can look at the cannon shot itself. You can aim a little bit above, a little bit below the middle coin, but actually the vertical difference in your position really affects how you need to control Mario during the flight. So I would recommend cannon shots, practicing cannon shots at different heights to get a feel for the difference. And also when you do the turnaround, the speed that you do the turnaround does actually matter a good bit. It's hard to tell when you're in the air, but a good turnaround versus a bad turnaround is a pretty big difference. So check out this comparison. Even though you should focus on collecting the coins, you should know that the way you execute the turnaround can also make a huge difference. And this clip's going to show a very good turnaround and then a pretty mediocre turnaround. And you'll see that a really good turnaround, where you don't have a huge steep arc through the last ring, can save multiple seconds over a bad turnaround. But keep in mind that losing a coin is about losing a second, so unless you're getting the same coin count, you should prioritize the coins for consistency. Alright, it's time to talk about the last section, which is everything from after flying to the end of the star, and yes, we are going to talk about the poles. But we'll just play the example video a little bit here, and there's a thing to note here. When you go up to this coin ring, you can actually do 2 dive rollouts instead, and go around counterclockwise, and that can save about 0.2. And then at this box, there's a faster box pick method. Instead of grabbing it, you can jump dive through it. Make sure you have enough speed to jump dive by pressing A and B on the same frame. But if you jump dive through the box, you can get over to this hill and then slide down the hill, and after you fall off, hold back into like that little corner and you'll break the box. And this, on average, it's RNG dependent, but on average this can save like half a second, so it's a pretty good time save. Alright, now it's time to talk about the poles. First of all, Jogi made a great video explaining the poles. I'll link it in the description, and you should go watch it if my summary doesn't make sense. But here we go. Alright, I've made a visual aid here to represent the pole area. So these are the poles, right? These are the 2 red coins, and this is the middle where the red coin star spawns. This is the sign, and this is like the side wall. So the top area here is the back, looking at it from the direction you approach. So the poles have actually a pretty decent radius. So like about this big is how big the pole radius is. And when you approach the pole, the coins will spawn in exactly 3 revolutions from when you first enter the radius. So the goal is to jump over the pole as the coins spawn, but also in the direction of the next pole. So you want to take a wider turn and slow down a bit to grab as many coins as possible when they spawn. So you're going to approach the pole. So let's say we're coming up into the star, we approach it from this direction. You're going to go around once, right? Twice. And the third time, you're going to give it a little bit more room. And as you reach this point, you're going to jump over. Grab the red coin. 1, 2, 3. Now we entered from this direction, see? So you're going to go wide and then jump. Now, you won't get all the coins every time, but when you miss coins, see if you'll actually be able to get them later before you go chase them, because coins will last for 15 seconds on the ground before disappearing. So they might roll towards one of the other poles, you know, or they might just hang around in the middle where you can grab it easily at the end. If the coins go to the outside, you'll probably need to get them first. If they're on this side, they might even bounce off the wall and come back, so just be ready for anything. So if you're getting, 4 pulls, then, you'll go around here. You'll end up at this one. If you need 3, you'll end up with the red coin. If you get the box first, you're going to start at the bottom right and go counterclockwise instead. So after you break the box somewhere around here, you'll go in. And then we're going to go counterclockwise. So 1, 2, 3. Now, because you're approaching the pole this way, it's not going to be the best angle. You just have to deal with it and then kind of loop around. So if the box coins work out and you only need 3 pulls, you can actually also go straight from the red coin to this one. So that way you can approach it, well, you would actually approach it from this angle. So you go 1, 2, 3. Alright, and you'll see in this clip, I got pretty good RNG, but you can see me taking that slower, wider turn on the 3rd revolution to jump through the pole in a way that is also kind of directed at the next pole of my sequence. So in this case, we're just getting 3. I took the box. I didn't need to. I could have done 3 in a Goomba, but that's it. But that's not it. There's one little nugget left, and then we'll call it a day. There's a rare but super cool strat that you can sometimes get called double star spawn, and it can save almost 4 seconds by skipping one of the star animation cutscenes. So how this happens is that the red coin star and the 100 coin star can spawn on the same frame. So the red coin star takes 4 frames to spawn, so if we go through the video here, I'm going to grab it, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 frames later grab the yellow coin. And if those two happen on the same frame, then you'll get the time save. Now once again, you can't ever expect to get it, but it's pretty cool and you can always try to go for it if you have good RNG. Well, that was a lot of information. So thank you for watching if you made it to this point. I hope this helps you look at the star in a new way and give you a newfound appreciation for the complex mechanics involved. At the end, I'm going to play both sample stars, the normal and advanced, start to finish without commentary, and that'll be it for me. Until next time, take it easy.
Here we go! Here we go!